by looking at me. But my dad was a very big man. I took after Mom. Dad was 6'3". Most of my adult life, or most of his adult life, I should say, he was about 350 pounds or more. And I have seen photos of him when he was young, and he was tall and slender back in those days. But as a child, I remember family members talking to Dad, and they would ask him about his ever-increasing weight, because it seemed like every time they saw him, he was heavier than the time before. And some would ask him what the doctor said about his weight. And I tell you, there were so many times I heard Dad reply. And he would say it like this: well, my doctor said I need to watch my weight. And then he would pat his ever-protruding stomach and say, so I'm getting it out here where I can see it better. He thought that was funny. None of the family thought it was funny. And I recall watching Dad walk across the yard, kind of at a fast pace, trying to get from one spot to the other. And I saw him get winded, just going just across the yard. And it was because of his weight. And he received warnings from his doctor, warnings from his friends, from the family members. And Dad chose not to do the things he needed to do to lose weight or to take care of himself. In the closing chapter of his life, the neglect of his body caused extensive health problems for him. And his health decline was difficult for me to watch, because I knew how many different times he had been told, be careful, you need to lose weight, you need to watch what you eat. He ignored it all. And he gave me the determination that whatever it takes, I'm not going to let myself get to that point. I'm going to be careful with what I eat. I want to be sure to keep exercising. I want to do the things that will help me to avoid what Dad went through. In John chapter 5, verses 1 through 9, it records an incident in Jesus' ministry that was somewhat unique. Let me share it with you. If you have your Bibles, please turn to that passage. It says, sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. From time to time, an angel of the Lord would come down and stir up the waters. The first one into the pool after each such disturbance would be cured of whatever disease they had. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, Jesus asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." At once, the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. The man was an invalid who spent his entire life there by the pool of Bethesda. Now the legend said an angel of God would occasionally stir the waters of this pool, and the first one into the water would be healed of their affliction. Commentators tell us that the stirring of the water was likely an underground spring that would bubble up on occasion. The widely known legend caused physically impaired people from all throughout the region to flock there to the pool in hope of being healed. And the area right around the pool was absolutely jammed with those with physical illnesses and maladies of various kinds, those with great physical need. This man considered his greatest need to be his inability to fend for himself. That seemed to be, from his perspective, his greatest need. His highest goal in life was to somehow be the first person to get into the pool when it started bubbling. From his perspective, and actually from the perspective of everyone watching him, it seemed like his life was pointless. That's your goal in life, to hop in the water when it's troubled? You know, when we look at our personal, individual situation, what do we find? Our situation, your situation, what is it like? Perhaps your goal in life was to be happily ever after. Just live happily ever after. That sounds good. But as you pursued that goal, maybe you found out that life's struggles really made it difficult to keep a right attitude. Like the sermon in the sack this morning, to try to look and get a perspective, and the perspective is really tainted and changed and warped. There are other people around you that seem to be cheerful and enjoying life and having a great time, and yet it seems like we, or maybe you, are under a cloud of darkness and defeat and discouragement. Maybe the dreams that we once had have been lost in the middle of living life. We had our lives planned out years ago. We were excited to live our dream, whatever that dream may be. But as you're trying to live the dream, maybe it became a nightmare. Something went amiss, and those dreams got derailed. And now you're trying to pick up the pieces and try to move forward. And we silently watch the people around us achieving their goals, living out their dreams, and here we are kind of stuck in a rut. And what we dreamed never became reality. Now let me share with you something you already know. And that is that the jagged edges of broken dreams cut deeply. The broken dreams. I've met people who had dreams for their lives, and it didn't happen the way they wanted, and it felt like they were sliced and diced, and they were hurting and bleeding on the floor, so to speak. Whatever the specifics of your life and your situation, God sees that. He understands. And best of all, He cares. He cares about you. Now, we're talking about individuals, but churches can find themselves in situations as well. Situations they hadn't planned on. A church can have a great facility and a good location, and have great potential for growth and outreach, and yet struggle to keep the doors open. While the church fights for its existence, across town there may be a church that doesn't have very much going for them, it seems. Bad location, in the wrong neighborhood, wrong side of the tracks, and yet they are growing and they are experiencing great days. And often the reason that a church with great potential does little, while a church with limited potential seems to be exploding with growth and revival, is a simple matter of one church letting God truly work in their situation. What's the noise? Okay. One church letting God work in a situation while the other doesn't. They try to figure it out themselves, do it themselves. Our perspective makes a big difference. I like a story that I heard a long time ago about two shoe salesmen that were sent to the continent of Africa back in the mid-1800s. After 1 week, the first salesman wired his home office in the U.S., and this was the message he sent them. I'm coming home on the next boat. No one here wears shoes. The second salesman also, after a week, he sent a message back to the home office in the U.S. Not the same company, a different company, but he sent a message, and his message was like this. Send 5,000 pairs of shoes as soon as possible. Everyone here needs them. Perspective. Attitude. You know, for us, attitude and prayerful action, spiritual vision for souls, a willingness to do whatever is needed to reach souls can overcome any limited potential situations. It can overcome all of those things if we're willing to do whatever is needed. When Jesus asked this man, do you want to get well? Do you want to be whole? The fellow began to give excuses for why he could not get well. Started giving excuses. You look at verse 7, he blames other people for his dilemma. He said no one would help him get to the pool. And then he said, someone else always beats me there. They always get there before I do. And if you go by his words, it seems as though he had a people problem more than he had a physical problem. Blaming everyone else. Aren't you glad that doesn't happen anymore? Well, the truth is that we live in a world where it seems everyone is excusing their behavior and their sin by blaming someone else. It happens everywhere all the time. And it's true that our background and the events we experience does shape us. And we learn certain patterns, we learn behaviors because of our upbringing. We understand that. I don't know about you, but if I hear one more news story about a court trial where somebody has committed these barbaric acts and the individual is excused because of some frivolous reason, I don't know, their parents painted the house green instead of white, therefore it's their parents' fault, so They throw out the case. If I hear one more of those, I'm going to throw up. That's better than kicking the screen in on my TV. But it's crazy. Blaming everyone else. And what we find is that no one wants to take responsibility for their actions. We'd rather blame someone else than take responsibility. And society tells us it's a whole lot easier for us to blame someone else for our problems rather than face our problems head on and do something positive to resolve the problems. And if those who are filled with excuses, hear me now, if the folks who are filled with excuses would spend as much time trying to find a solution to their problems as they do creating more excuses, they could solve the problems. One of those will fit, amen or ouch. You see, there's also a danger in the church for making excuses for not accomplishing the task that God has given us to do. We are supposed to be influencing the world, but it seems like the world is influencing the church instead. And we're falling prey to this blaming business. Again, I've been pastoring for a while. And some of the common excuses that I've heard as for why churches are doing so little for God's kingdom are some of the following. We have a poor location. We do not have money for outreach. Our facility is old and